Welcome everybody to today's session of DevOps SRE interview questions. If you like my content, please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate that because that helps me with YouTube's algorithm. As you can see, there are still many questions that I want to cover. These are generally meant for junior level DevOps role questions in an interview. However, some of them can be asked in a senior level interview as well, but generally speaking, those questions will be a little harder and more complicated. But anyway, I will do 3 questions per video. So today's first question is, how can a shell script be an anti-pattern for DevOps or SRE? So DevOps and SRE these days are um, fully relied upon the concept that your code um, creates a state of infrastructure that is the desired state, and if something happens that is in conflict with that's different, it's called a drift, that's different than what is desired, then you should have the code and reapply and make it so, right? That's the whole pattern. So let's say that you're creating a PPC, you're creating a bunch of servers and networks and whatnot. All of those are in your code, and that gets deployed to the latest version, and now you have your running state. Problem with shell scripts is it changes the state of things in production or staging, whatever. Let's say they run a script that creates a bunch of yams. That's all great. It's still automated, but the problem with that is now if you want to recreate your environment, your desired state is not what the actual state is, right? So whatever changes a shell script makes will be gone next time the code is deployed. Now, that's not to say that shell scripts are deprecated. There are many cases where shell scripts are needed. For example, a migration or some kind of one-off things that you must run that is not part of a desired state that you want to recreate at any time, right? Then you can run your script to do whatever, right? But in general, because shell scripts changes state and does not keep track of it, it is considered to be generally an anti-pattern for DevOps and SRE these days. Next question, what is a dry principle and why is it important? So DRY stands for do not repeat yourself, right? What that means is, let's say that you were creating infrastructure. Let's say you're creating 10 different virtual machines, right? And some parts of this machine's code is same, some are not same, right? So the parts that are same, you should not be repeating them in the code in 10 different places, right? So whatever is common among all these virtual machines, they should go in one place, like a module or a function or something. Your design of your code should be such that you're not repeating the same code a bunch of times, because the reason for that is when it's time to change something, you would have to go and change in all those 10 places. Maybe it's 3, maybe it's 5, but you don't want to do that because that requires an engineer to keep track of which places I put the code in, right? So if your code relies on other codes that are repeated, it should be part of a module or a function or something that gets called by something else. So the code itself is only kept in one place. That's basically what a dry code is, and you should, whenever possible, you should try to make your code such that you don't repeat yourself. All right, last question for today. What is a state? And give me an example, right? State is basically how things are. For example, you have a bank account that has a balance, right? It has a history of transactions and whatnot. Maybe you have your profile, whatnot. Whatever data, whatever state, whatever, I can't think of any other word that is the same. Basically, how things are today in your infrastructure. It could be as low as configurations, or it could be a database or a network or what have you, right? However it is, that's your state, right? So a decent example would be, let's say you have a database where you have all your names and addresses and phone numbers and whatnot, a table maybe, right? So however it is in the database right now, that's your state, right? And it changes over time. That's the whole point, right? The state will change as we make changes to your infrastructure or code or data or what have you. That's the state. Another example of state would be, let's say that you have a routing table on your router, right? That routing table might change over time, but however it is today, that's your state of the routing table, right? And you can think about 1,000 examples like this, right? However things are, however your configurations are, however your infrastructure is, however your data is, however your tables are, however your cache data is, all of these are examples of states of your infrastructure slash data, right? So I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I would really appreciate that. And I'll see you in the next video.